Welcome back to another episode of No Bolts Left Behind. I got a little bit of a different project today. As you can see, there are no cars in my garage, and that's because the garage itself is going to be the project. If you've been watching this channel, you've probably noticed that I have a pretty small garage. Unfortunately, that's kind of just how it goes in the city, and you've probably noticed that the walls have been sort of closing in on me over the years. I'm starting to collect some pretty big tools over here, and I've got every last inch of this place like completely shelved and full of stuff. So I'm gonna do a little bit of a garage expansion. I don't have a lot of room to work with here, but the one place I can expand is this wall right here. So this wall is gonna get removed. It's gonna get pushed out, rebuilt, and I'm gonna get new concrete, thicker concrete installed, because I'm fulfilling one of my lifetime dreams, getting a car lift. There's gonna be some work to be done to remove some of these, whatever, these boards, these rafters here, trusses, I think is what they're called. Gonna have to put some roof beams. And when it's all done, I'm gonna technically be able to park 4 cars inside this garage. Yeah, so tomorrow's the first day of construction, so today I'm gonna have to clear out all of this stuff. Yeah, it's gonna be a long day. Let's get to it. Okay, it's been a long time since I've seen the inside of this wall. I was hoping to find a bunch of 10mm sockets in here, but it looks like there's nothing. That's crazy. Okay, I got this whole wall. I got a little bit up there, a couple more shelves, a bunch of stuff. Ooh, okay, let's keep going. All right, everything is taken out of this garage. It's very dark and it looks very big. Those are my 2 takeaways. I've never actually seen it like this, because even when I moved in, there was quite a bit of junk in here, so it's really weird to see it completely cleared out. All right, I am absolutely toasted. I don't think I've ever been this tired, and it's like 10 p.m., so I think I'm gonna get some sleep, and I'll see you tomorrow morning when the work begins. All right, here is the end result of day 1. Pretty wild. We're missing half of a roof, and we're missing the entire wall, which is going to be moved that way, and I can already tell how much more room I'm gonna have. It's actually pretty crazy. I have a whole 3 extra feet here. The entire concrete slab is gone, which is very, very impressive. They got the whole thing out. They got the whole thing jackhammered and removed and hauled off all in one day. So yeah, demo days are always very impressive to me for sure. And they also dug out the floor quite a bit to get that thicker concrete slab, which is going to be, I think, like 6 inches instead of whatever this is. Like, this is probably something like 4 inches, but I'm gonna get that extra, 6-inch whatever concrete slab to support the weight of the car lift. Good progress on day 1. Pretty crazy. It's kind of cool to get an idea. It's now that it's open, I can just picture my Challenger sitting like way up there, sitting like right up there in the middle. And I can just picture all my toolboxes like right along that wall. Pretty sweet. All right, it's the next day of work, and some pretty serious progress has been made in the digging department here. And it's not actually the next day, it's a couple days later, because we hit a little bit of a snag with city approvals or whatever. I guess the footing of this concrete slab, never mind the Supra revving in the background. So the walls of the garage, I guess in 1932, when this garage was built, required, I don't even know if they required any sort of footing, but this much concrete, which is about 4 inches of concrete. I think if you're lucky, you'll have 4 inches of concrete. And now in 2024, this is how much concrete you need. I believe that's 18 inches of concrete, if you can kind of get a scale here. I mean, it's absolutely crazy. It's a huge amount of concrete, and now you can actually start to see the shape of my footing for the lift. So 500 times the amount of concrete that the walls are sitting on, or whatever it is. Never mind the fact that this thing has been standing for almost 100 years now and been through many, many serious earthquakes. Now with the new building code, it'll be able to survive, I don't know, maybe a nuclear blast or something like that. It's kind of expensive, but you know what? That's what you gotta do. And what's actually the most crazy about this whole thing is that they did have to dig underneath the wall. So at this moment, the garage is basically being suspended in the air. None of it is actually touching the ground. They've cut under the garage, and just these giant beams right here, which are going through huge holes in my wall. Kind of freaks me out a little bit, but I'm trying to ignore that right now. Yeah, the whole garage is actually floating in the air. I mean, we got like a post that's not existent anymore, also floating in space. I guess the garage door is floating. This whole thing is floating. It's actually a little bit nerve-wracking to be standing in here at the moment. I'm gonna probably leave here soon. Hopefully this passes city inspection, I think tomorrow or the next day. We're gonna put rebar in here. Yeah, pretty big progress, I would say. Today's the day.
Oh, nice.
Concrete, yeah.
Up on the bolts, okay? And we are deciding to come to the bolts, everything we have. Nikolai used to own it. Yeah, that was back in the day. It used to be a spiritual tarot card. That's the deal.
Yeah.
Hey Glenn, you're knocking stuff all over the wall.
All right, it's the next day, and believe it or not, the concrete is dry, and they're gonna start framing. Got some earthquake bolts. Here's another reason why I'm doing this whole rebuild. This is an ancient garage. There's been some termite damage over the years. This is a good chance to fix all that stuff.
Ay, dry.
All right, so the first day of framing is done, and it's actually looking pretty good. We've got a lot of progress. Obviously, the biggest thing here is this huge header up here, this beam, which is pretty crazy. So the reason this beam is going in is to support that beam up there, and I believe there's gonna be another beam, or maybe that is the beam, I'm not sure, but we're gonna have something across there too, which is also gonna support that big beam up there, and that big beam is gonna be what allows us to remove these trusses. All of this work just to remove 3 boards, which is going to allow me, of course, to lift the car up. And I very much do not have a wall on this side. In fact, if this plywood wasn't here, this would just be completely open. Like really, it's like half of my garage. This wall and this wall right here is gone. So yeah, it's pretty wild. There's going to be some sort of beam, I'm sure, across here too. Hopefully we'll replace this guy because that looks pretty old and pretty termite-ish up there. So, but yeah, it's exciting to see this guy up there. Actually, you know, now that this beam's in here, I'm curious what the total headroom is going to be, or the total height of the garage. All right. I couldn't show you, but you're gonna have to take my word for it. That was 150 inches total, which is 12 and a half feet. Yep, exactly 12 and a half feet of headroom. And the total lifting height of the car lift is just shy of 88 inches. It's like 87 and a half. And that's the absolute that the ramps that the tires sit on go up to, and they actually rest a little bit lower. So 150 minus 88 is 62 inches. So that means I can fit at the very highest point a car that is 5 feet and 2 inches. My Challenger is 50 inches tall, so that's something like 4 foot 2 inches. So I should have actually 1 foot of space from the roof of my Challenger to the top beam up there. And of course, I think the Mustang's probably even lower, and the Corvette is definitely a lot lower. So that's awesome. I should be able to fit all 3 of my current cars. Although I'm not sure that the beam is going to be the limiting factor. I'm thinking that this board right there, I don't know, it's actually kind of hard to tell. All right, day 2 of framing, and it looks like we got support on the header beam up there. So it looks like all of this stuff is tied in, and it also looks like we got our trusses removed, which is exciting. And then we got this beam here, which is cool because this was just a old termite damaged beam before. So this truss here, let me just move it with some electrical wire. Not sketchy at all. This guy is obviously not supporting anymore, and I wonder, this guy's still connected, but obviously the biggest change here, we do have a wall. This is kind of the first look at what this thing's gonna look like, and previously my garage was up to here somewhere, so this is the extra 3 feet right here. I guess the old wall was right up to here, right there. So this guy is the edge of the old wall. It doesn't look like much, but this is gonna make a world of difference for me. So pretty excited. All right, let's check out the progress for today. Looks like we got some walls. These are actually not for cosmetic reasons. These are for earthquake reasons. From what I understand, these are shear walls. This is some sort of new code thing to give it a little bit of shear stability, I suppose. Just one more thing that I think is probably getting overbuilt on this guy. But this one I'm actually okay with, because one thing I do want to do is cover all of these walls in here and paint, white. So it'll look a little nicer, a little more finished in here. So I think this is all that's required as per the city inspections or whatever, as per the engineering plans. But I'll go ahead and definitely cover the rest of this off with some more plywood, get the same thickness. So yeah, I'm thinking that this is pretty much done as far as framing and building goes. Obviously there's some exterior work to do here, some stucco work, and I suppose there's probably a little something here for the garage door, like a frame, because this is kind of just hanging out here. The stucco wall's kind of hanging out here. So I suppose just a little bit more framing to do, and then a roof. A roof needs to go on or get finished anyway, like shingles or whatever. And then we're almost there. Whew. All right, there we go. Looks like a roof. Looks good. I was pretty surprised how fast he built this thing, like only a couple hours. Looks good. I'm happy to have this thing all sealed off. And I got lots and lots of grapefruits up here. All right, so progress has kind of slowed down a little bit on this thing. I guess this stuff needs maybe a week or like 10 days to dry. So I think it's time for me to start moving stuff back in, I guess, because all of the work inside here is done for now anyway, until I do some like finishing wall stuff. But I feel like I'm safe to start piling stuff here in the middle, maybe just to get stuff out of the rain. Even though we've been having pretty good luck with the rain, I don't want to chance it. So I'm gonna start putting stuff in here, my toolboxes. I got my air compressor already in here. And I also wanna start putting some work back into this Honda. It's definitely time. So I'm gonna start piling stuff in here, then I'm gonna push this Honda back in. Okay, we got this garage door back, and this thing is insanely heavy. The guy said it was somewhere between 500 and 1,000 pounds. Yeah, so This is gonna be a little bit of a challenge. I think if I can get something in the middle of this, like the balance point, that will help. I have this little wheelie furniture mover thing. This guy right here. Hopefully that thing will get us going. And definitely the engine hoist is gonna be key. All right, I got this thing in here. That was actually not too bad. It just had a little bit of a precarious sort of dangle in there, but luckily my neighbor got home at just the right time. So I got this huge thing in there. I guess getting it up, hoisted up here is going to be a totally different story, but that's future Barry's problem. Next week, Barry's problem. Next thing I got to focus on is the Texas trip. Here at the airport, LAX. I got a one-way ticket to Dallas, Texas. Oh my God, there's a straight up flood right here. Holy shit. Oh my God.